weddings and shit with Weddings by Sunnyside. This is episode 4. We are talking about things that we wish we would have known, and or things that we've heard people say they wish they would have known when or after their wedding was over. So to start us off, we are going to talk about padding your timeline and having unplugged ceremonies and drunk toasts / open mics. Whew. Do not playlists for your DJs, and why you should obviously hire a wedding videographer. So 5 things. Let's roll. Padded timelines. Guys, how many times do we hear from brides that they wish they would have just given themselves a little bit more time in everything?
Every wedding.
I
think it's every wedding. I think it's 100%. Yeah.
I feel like I've definitely come across some really great weddings recently where they had a planner that a planner knows how much time you should have for each thing. Yeah. And she leaves a good buffer window. He or she leaves a good buffer window for them. And it ends up being a really positive experience for everybody involved. So not just the bride, but also me, because I'm like,
the rest of the
sweet, we can breathe, you know, we have a minute. I think that's one of my biggest pieces of advice for brides when they're talking about their timeline is whoa, remember, this may actually take longer than you think it's going to take. So, give yourselves some time in between your events, because the last thing you want to do is be running around trying to do everything.
Yeah, and I think it's especially crucial if you don't have a day of coordinator or a planner. That's, like you said, they really know how to take care of it. But if you don't have that, that's a thing. That's the main thing that a lot of people don't even think of,
Right.
It's just cool, I just need 5 minutes for this and 20 for this.
And that's right there. When you think you need X amount of time for something, add more time. Because you never think about the transition to the next portion of whatever it is you're trying to get to. And then while you're doing it, you're obviously talking to your friends,
and
wasting
damage
time.
Control.
Damage
Shit
control.
happens.
There's just so much going. You gotta pad your timeline.
For sure. Side note too, if you're traditionally late, like I am, not to weddings and gigs and stuff like that, but traditionally in life, we've run on what's called Filipino time.
For sure,
right?
It's a thing.
And do some soul searching ahead of time. And if you're the type of person that just runs behind and legs on it, your wedding should absolutely not be any different. In fact, it should be padded even more.
Exactly.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Just be honest with yourself.
Exactly.
If your family is that way.
Yes.
If your family is that way,
yes.
put a different time on the invitation for your ceremony.
Yes.
Great recommendation.
Then the actual
give them 30
ceremony.
minutes
Give
ahead.
them 15 to 30 minutes so people can trickle on in. Because if you say 4 o'clock, people are going to be there at 4:30.
That's totally a new trend too.
It's like that. Yeah.
Totally new trend.
And you can even have some refreshments, a free cocktail hour. People can just come on in and hang out and sit down. And
people get lost on the way. Traffic.
I mean, last thing you want is you kissing your your new person, and then you got Aunt Sally coming in the back, and she's like, "Hi, sorry I'm late." It's that sucks.
So there's an Aunt Sally or an Uncle Bob.
Aunt Sally.
Well, and fun fact is that if you do show up early, chances are, your DJ's curated, hopefully, a great playlist for guests arriving to kind of get you in the mood. You can find seats, you can get some water and hydrate, you can go to the bathroom, right?
Exactly.
I mean, just
especially
those
if you have a long
things.
journey. If you drove a long way, you don't want to sit there and
So overall, pad your timeline.
Yep.
Give yourself
time.
Just do
Absolutely.
it. You will not regret it. All right, unplugged ceremonies. I cannot stress this enough. I seriously, every conversation with brides and grooms and whomever are getting married, unplugged ceremonies are the way to go. And I guarantee you, regardless of how many freaking signs you have all over your wedding or whether you put it on the invitation, Uncle Bob is still going to show up with his freaking DSLR, or somebody's going to have their iPad and they're going to stand in the aisle. Have an unplugged ceremony. There's just so many times.
Your point is have the officiant say something about it, because
have
the
a
signs
sign.
aren't gonna.
No, but I've been to weddings where even an announcement was made right before the wedding started, and a legit announcement, and people, I swear to God, 10, 15 people still with their iPhones or their iPads or their freaking cameras out. So, and the point is, people are there to enjoy this ceremony. They're
invited.
Let's try as a society to remove a screen from our face and have it not be a medium between us and these experiences. I mean, and it goes hand in hand with everything you do in life. Maybe just put it down and enjoy what's happening in front of you.
But the thing is, though, if you're traveling, you're doing other things, the need to want to document that is more prevalent, because you don't have a professional photographer following you around taking your photos for you. At a wedding, you do. So just chill out. enjoy the day, and then there's somebody there. There's multiple people there that are paid to do this for you. So
That's
just
what's
let them
important.
do it.
I think it's almost sort of rude as a guest to pull your phone out, knowing damn well that the bride and groom have paid for a professional photographer, and you're potentially going to ruin what they spent tons of money on.
Which they have.
Yeah. If you ruin the shot of them coming down the aisle or them kissing, like, that's thousands of dollars you just wasted for a bride and groom.
I think there was
Just
like
so
a
that you
viral
could-
photo that went around
Yes,
where it was
several,
like the
several.
kissing photo, and there's a guy in the aisle with his phone.
And it
Oh,
ruined
rude.
the
What the hell
photographer
are you
shot.
doing?
You're not going to look at that photo ever again
Sit
on
your
your cell
ass
phone.
down.
Actually, my favorite viral link that went around was the image of the groom not being able to see his bride walk down the
that one
image
too.
because everybody was standing in the aisle.
Yeah, going like this.
And it made my heart hurt so bad because like that was his first look. They didn't have a first look. Like that was his first look. And you can see him literally like craning around people to try and get a look at her. And it just like, I'm like, you know what? It's not about you. This is about them and their day and what they're doing, and respect it. People are being paid to be there that have been handpicked to document it, and like just chill out.
We're heated on this.
Well,
This gets me real heated.
I have the perfect solution for you guys. Number one, it's not up to the officiant to make those announcements. It's honestly up to your guys' DJ, right? It's an evolution. As a DJ, I make sure before the ceremony starts and say, hey, it's time to put your phones on vibrate, power them off. Don't be that guy or gal, right? And when you call out people like that and you say, all right, maybe I shouldn't, you know, it's evolving into something that has to be, we have to tell people to just straight up throw your phones, leave your phones in the car, because it's just getting out of control.
It
But
is.
it's society in general. I get it. You want to have your phone, you want to Snapchat, you want to Instagram, everything.
For sure.
But for 10 minutes, let it be about the bride, the groom, you being a part of the experience, and let the people who are paid do their job, and you can go back to it later. And there'll be plenty of times to hashtag. You've got as soon as the ceremony's over, you can hashtag all you want. But again, don't be that guy, guys.
It's that instant gratification that we have as a society. Like it is. It's.
I want to post the first photo of the bride.
I want to be exactly.
I want to be the first person on the hashtag. It's
But put that weight on your DJ. Put that weight on your DJ. Make sure your DJ knows what announcements to make, before the ceremony starts, right before, I mean the ceremony starts like as guests are arriving. You can make a couple quick announcements, but also right before it's go time, you make those final announcements like you would at any other show. Yeah, when you go to the theater, they do that curtain call. There's 2 lights. Get to your seats. It's go time. The DJ should be willing to do that for you guys. And if they're not,
You hired the wrong DJ.
call me.
Cool.
All right. So drunk and open mic toasts.
Touch and go.
I'm not gonna start on that because
I'll hop on this one. Okay. More often than not, it goes terribly. I've only seen one open mic toast situation that went very well. It was at a family wedding, and the people who all got up knew exactly what they wanted to say before they got up, and it was special. But for the most part, when you get drunk people in a microphone, you're going to get rambling, you're going to get bad stories that you don't want to hear, and you're going to get embarrassed. You're going to get embarrassed. Make sure you lock down your toasts to the people you want to hear from: dad, mom, brother, sister, bridesmaids, maid of honor, best man, those sorts of people. And do not allow other people to speak at your wedding, because it's very possible they will ruin your night. That's like plain and simple. Like when you let somebody have a microphone, you're opening up the floor for them to say whatever they want. If it's being recorded, people do not have a filter when they're drunk.
No.
And it can totally throw off the vibe and the flow of your wedding day. Man, I've seen some people say some things that they just should not have said.
Well, I don't know why weddings are like that.
You see the color just drop out of the bride and groom's face. They're just like, wow, my
like
day just got terrible.
It's terrible.
Toasts are a special thing that shouldn't really be just handed out,
Right, but if you do want to hand it out, do it at the rehearsal dinner the night before. Open your mic up. People are drunk. They can say whatever they want, and it's not your actual wedding day, and they have an opportunity to say, because everybody wants to make a frickin' speech these days about whatever, and it gives them a chance to say something, and you can listen or not listen, and there's a lot less pressure on you to maintain this vibe of your day. But open mics can go. They can do a 180 in
and
a
they can
second.
just take a lot of time, which is a bummer. If someone gets on the mic and takes 20 minutes and you're like, really? Great.
Yeah, that's another part. toasts, limit them, tops 4 minutes each person, maybe limit 4 toasts. Like, let's make it 20 to 25 minutes,
2 minutes
total.
Two
like,
minutes,
I
2 minutes
can't.
of toast.
Yeah.
People don't want to sit through it.
No.
Yeah,
The
2
other
minutes of
thing-
toast.
The other thing, maybe I'm alone on this. The other thing I think that the toasters should try to do is keep the inside jokes to a minimum. Maybe one, maybe 2 if you guys are real close. But don't make the whole thing about inside jokes because everyone else is like, like
Awkward.
I don't get that. Like that's funny for you, and then it's like no one laughs. And make it. I like heartfelt toast. I think it's really awesome when people are, being really honest and heartfelt. And I don't know. I just think that's much more meaningful and more appropriate for a wedding day than a bunch of inside jokes. It's like
Write a card.
Yeah.
Write a card with some inside jokes to pass it off.
Exactly.
Write it out. If you guys, there's definitely some sort of worksheet that you guys are working on, whether it be through your photographer or your DJ, and there's more than likely a section there about toast where you can list out the people that you want toast. And I would say start off with a big list, right? Be a little bit more generous than you would of the people that you think you would like to have a toast. And as you get closer to the wedding, start chopping that down. And I would say 4, at max, right? Yeah, and that's kind of what we've seen traditionally. That works. You're not spending too much time because you have to think about that you're cutting into also the next stage of your wedding, which is the dancing, cake cutting, all the fun stuff that you want to get to. And you also have to remember, when does it take place? 9 out of 10 times right after dinner, and people are just over. They're just done. They're just done vegging, and they want to get going.
Agreed. Yeah. Which leads us to our next point, which is the do not playlist, which I'm going to pretty much let Randy talk about because he's the master of playlists.
So, when choosing your guys' wedding DJ, the one thing your DJ needs to be concerned with is absolutely positively what not to play. The reason why I say this is because you're in a groove, you're dancing, you're having a great time. What can be an absolute killer is playing a song that you hate in your brain, right? and when I say list it out, the reason why is because traditionally as a wedding DJ, there honestly is about a catalog of 100 songs that are just kind of like your go-to wedding songs that you hear all the times at weddings that A, you either love, B, you either hate, or C, despise, where if you heard it, you would walk out. And we don't want to get to C at all. B, it's fine. We can get in and get out and be over with. It's not that bad. For example, number 1, the Macarena is not is on there.
Oh my gosh, people still play that?
People still play that because I still get requested for it every now and then, which is why the do not playlist is so interesting.
Too, though. It's really important for that too, because if you have this playlist that that the bride and groom don't want any of those songs, and someone comes up and is like, "Oh, I really want the Macarena,"
Absolutely.
Sorry, I can't do it.
Sorry, it's a no tonight.
The number one dice throw for weddings that I've noticed is "Shout" by the Isley Brothers. Some people are like, are you gonna play it? Will you play it? And other people are like, do not play that at my wedding. Me personally, that's a floor filler. Yeah. That is one of the best wedding heaters of all time. Especially if you are in the middle of a transition and you're losing the dance floor a little bit, you're kind of losing energy, it's time for a flip, you drop one of what I call Old Faithfuls, But within those Old Faithfuls, there's some Old Faithfuls you don't want to invite to dinner.
Yeah. YMCA.
Precisely. And some people might, but see, last night, the gig I played, they wanted the YMCA. So
depends on your crowd.
Exactly. Yeah. So just as important as the songs that you want to hear are the songs you absolutely do not.
Yeah.
The vibe killers.
Most importante.
Yeah. And if you guys have done your thorough work with your DJ, that's one of the things that you want to kind of keep an eye out for. And play a game with them. See if they bring it up and see how they work with you when selecting your DJ. I know right off the bat, it's one of the things that I really, really focus on is our do not playlist. It's got a page to itself on our worksheet that we do there.
Yeah. Totally. All right. Last but not least, wedding videographers. I'm pretty much going to let Donnie talk about that.
Pretty straightforward. A lot of people regret not getting their wedding filmed after it's over. Mm-hmm. If you are, Brandy's pointing out himself.
I would give anything to have to videos of that, because all I have are the videos that are in my brain or the videos that were on Instagram. Speaking of, putting your phone away, and those are cherished moments, especially seeing some of the videos that are out there and being able to recreate that whole feeling of the day in like a 5-minute video. That stuff's priceless. Yeah. Priceless. It's a very, very dear dear
it
thing
makes
to
me think back to like watching home videos, and it kind
Totally.
of holds
Oh,
the
man.
same
Yeah.
the same nostalgia.
That's a really, really good
It is
analogy.
And I feel like our parents, like, they used to film stuff here and there, but like they weren't huge on it. And now I have a kid, and so it's like kind of becomes something where I'm like more conscious about it. But watching yourself in a video is a totally different experience than photographs. I mean, obviously you need pictures because it's a tangible thing, and like you need to be able to do that. But video, I always think back to childhood home videos, and like they were shitty, you know, like they were on like a teeny tiny like camcorder. But like regardless of that, it's having like the ability to actually replay something. You know, like as you get older, your mind is going to fade, your memories fade. Like it's just a natural occurrence as humans that happen. And having a video there to remind you of exactly how it was and how it felt is just, when people say they don't have a budget for it, I'm like, just try and figure it out.
It's weird too, because traditionally everyone gets wedding photos. That's like, you have to have a wedding photographer. It's like a no-brainer. But it's been interesting to watch over probably like the last 8 to 10 years how traditionally now wedding film is filling that gap. Like I had a couple this year who were like, we're not that huge on wedding photos. We want to put all of our budget into a wedding film because they saw the value of that long term, you know? Photos are amazing. You get to put them on your desk, put them on your dresser, put them next to your nightstand. Like you see them all the time, post them online. Like it's a great quick reminder, but there's no feeling like being the star of your own video.
Yeah.
And when it comes to your wedding day, there's just nothing else that can capture the feeling and the emotion. And, you know, in case of our films, what's actually said on your wedding day gets captured as well and put into that story. And so those words, the emotions that you feel when your dad gives a toast, like that's immortalized in film. And you will always you'll be 80 years old showing your grandchildren what it was like to get married. And that investment alone, like if you break it down, like sure, okay, I spent $5,000 on a wedding film, but you have this for the next 50 years. So what do you spend? Like $50 a year?
Right.
Yeah.
You know,
Exactly.
Like, like break it down for yourself and
Yeah.
really consider like, holy shit, this is one of the coolest things you can get.
Yeah.
It truly is an opportunity to warp back in time,
It is.
right?
Unbelievable.
And honestly, when you watch that with like, you know, anybody from your family, any of your friends, you both have that opportunity to warp back. And there's just those days that you want to go back in time, and this is one of those things where you have that opportunity to keep something, put it in a safe, and have it, you know, forever.
Well, on the other hand, too, it's for people that maybe aren't able to make it to your wedding.
Yep.
You know, like
Yep.
your family. If you have family from out of state or out of the country, you know, and they're not able to make it, then that's
Or someone's sick.
Someone's sick. Yeah. The interesting thing is that we almost were going to have to say that's a thing that we wish we had known.
Yeah, we almost, I mean, when we got engaged, originally we didn't think we were going to want a wedding film because we're in the industry.
Right.
We know what it's like. It's like, nah, we
Well,
really
he's
want
pretty
it.
critical.
He was critical. We're
Extremely
like, we're never going to be able to find
Yeah.
somebody that he's like, I'm always going to watch it and be like, oh, I wish that they hadn't have edited it that way or whatever, you know, which may be true, maybe not. But the one thing that changed our mind is hearing Melissa and Chris talk about their wedding video. No matter what the quality was or anything, they say they cry every single time they watch it. And
I
to me,
cried
I'm
like when I saw it.
Yeah. So I'm like, I want that.
Yeah.
And just know, statistically, in the wedding industry, it is the number one regret of brides and grooms is that they wish they had purchased a wedding film. So just keep that in mind. It's like, it's just what people are saying. It's how they feel.
Yeah.
Well,
That's how we feel.
let's talk price for a second here. I mean, you guys brought up a good point. With us as Weddings by Sunnyside, we are a complete troupe. So by all means, if you do want a videographer and budget is on your mind, don't be afraid to ask for packages, you know, and
Reach out.
don't be afraid to find what you want and make it work
And customize
within
things,
your budget.
you
And
know?
customize
like we have
things,
packages, but you know, ask if it's not your budget, I go for a shorter film or cut some things out.
There's ways
and
to make it work.
There's
it's
ways
absolute-
to
like it's
absolutely
just
make it work.
one of those things that is a priceless investment. There's nothing like it out
And
there.
also,
you get one chance.
I think part of it also comes from people come to this point where they're like, we have a budget, we already have the venue, and we spent this much money on the venue. So it's like, I wish we could just educate people from the very get-go of like, think about your budget before you even have a venue, and think about all of the places that you want to spend this money, and then go look for the venue, because obviously you need the place that you're going to get married. But if you've already dropped half of your budget on the actual
Right.
venue, then you're totally screwed on the back end. And then you're going to end up losing out on these things that you may potentially really want. So I think it's also just about educating, you know, friends and family who are getting engaged, and, you know, however many people we can reach before they actually get to that place in their planning, to say like, wait, don't blow it though. Like maybe go for a different, less expensive venue so that you can afford, you know, at the end of the day, what's really most important to you is that you get married at this, you know, creme de la creme winery, or is that you have and actually can drop
This is seriously the same conversation
thousands of dollars on a wedding video, because that is what it's going to cost. But at the end of the day, it is literally all you have is photos and videos. That's all you can walk away with.
True.
And
It's very, very true.
And, you know, the venue is a fleeting thing in your whole wedding day. So
You're only there for like 10 hours.
Yeah, if that.
Yeah.
So
We've come to the conclusion that it's not the venue we choose, it's what we make of it.
yeah, exactly.
And our first priority was to find a photographer and videographer that we jived with, that we loved their work, and we set that money aside. We were like, this is how much it's going to cost. Okay, this is our new budget for everything else. Like that. Because you're right, this is all you get to take home. Like when it's all said and done and it's over and you go back to the honeymoon suite and you're like, damn, that was amazing. All that's left is the photos and the video.
It's
That's
so true.
And
That's
maybe
always-
the Instagram posts, you know what I mean? But like,
and your cake cutting knives at
Right.
the end of it. But that's
That's
it.
literally
Like,
it.
you know, even
Yeah.
if you keep those,
There's
I would-
nothing
So
else.
I would say, going forward, I think we need to do an episode on budget, guys.
Yeah, I agree.
I think we have
And
to.
budgeting
Episode
wedding.
5.
Yeah.
So 5.
So let's nip episode 4 in the bud. Donnie, do you have any last minute thoughts on?
no. I
videographer?
just think those are just all 5 things you should definitely think about. Consider them deeply.
And they're very dear to us. I mean, you
Yeah,
can
they
tell
are.
like how emotional we get into it. And I'll say it again. Get a videographer. For someone who did not get a videographer, for a couple that's about to get married, and from someone who did,
Yeah.
you know, I really wish I did. I really
So
do.
5 things. Hope you guys enjoyed.
Thanks
a
for
good one.
watching.
Thanks for
Thanks.
watching.
See you
We'll
next
see you next
time.
time.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. I'm Kristen.
I'm Melissa.
If you guys have any suggestions on things that you wish that you would have known, that you want to suggest to other upcoming brides, or any talking points or any questions, comments, whatever, let us know. Leave us some comments down below, subscribe, all the good shit, you know.
Thanks for being here.